Watch this before you venture onto boop.fun, so you may avoid losing 0.6 Sol like I have. There are two ways you can mint a coin on boop.fun. I'll show you which one I recommend. We're going to talk about price, we're going to talk about staking, we're going to get into the tokenomics. This project has a pretty solid detailed plan of their token. And to be fair, they have a pretty solid moon case. And after covering the technical details of the website, I'm going to give you my pure raw conclusion. And if you want to hang on to the very end, I'm going to talk to you about graduation farming the boop coin on raydium, and my love story with the Jimmy coin. Do you love meme coins? Do you want to start a cult? Then you got to check out boop.fun. So what the hell is boop? At first glance, it kind of looks like a pump.fun. And so these are the newest coins that have just been created. Let's go to the about to graduate ones. Remember, on boop.fun, graduation occurs at around like 85 Sol. Let's take the example of boopy. It is something like 80% on its way to graduation. Over here you can see it's 82% actually. And it's 15.5 Sol left. So what can we know about boopy here? It was created 7 hours ago. Has a market cap of 50,000 and a volume of 23,000. And now this is an interesting one. How much has gone to Boop stakers? What I love the most about boop.fun is their documents website. Just gotta love their style. They have no single capital letter on the entire website. And so this is boop and the little one is beep. And the launching process is pretty novel. So there are two ways to create a coin on boop. You either create on the website, in which case you have the right to buy the first couple of coins, or you tweet about the creation on x.com, which is even more democratic because that allows everyone to be the first to buy the first tokens. As a cult leader myself, I could not stop myself from creating my own coin here. So let's start our own cult here. I started this podcast called The Holy AI yesterday, and that's one of the icons that I created for it. Token name Holy AI, ticker symbol Holy. Let's make sure we're not using capital letters. And by the way, I love the visuals. I love this icon here. And I love that boop moves its head. And if you click on it. Alright, so I made a short description for the coin. We have a lore now. And we're going to be owning 1% of the coins from the start. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do 2%. And let's remember this number here, 0.61 Sol. On pump.fun and other meme coin creating platforms, usually if you're the first to buy the coins, and you happen to be the last to sell, you'll usually get something like 98% of this amount back. So you virtually cannot lose anything. You only lose like 1 or 2%. And so I'm curious, if no one buys our coins, are we going to get this amount back? And I just love the lore of the website. We are pushing this puppy on chain, and instead of go back, we have fuck go back. But let's launch it. Your token has been successfully deployed. We may have just created a cult. But this notification is still jumping around here. So has it been created or not yet? Let's check on the main page. So these are the newly launched tokens. Let's refresh. We do not currently have our coin showing here. Another thing about boop is boop staking. You can stake your boop, but watch out, you have a 5-day withdrawal period. So I could either wait for 5 days and get all my 183 boops back, or you withdraw instantly, which incurs a 5% fee. But I'm not going to unstake just yet. I want to see how much $44 worth of boop is going to get me in airdrops and fees. It's been 5 minutes and our token is still in limbo. Have we just lost 0.6 Sol? By the way, here is some advice from a professional. If you're trying out a new meme coin launch website for the first time, don't ape in real money. 0.1 Sol. That's all you need to put in it. But why would you want to stake in the first place? It's because of this juicy 60% staking fee here. So every trade on boop.fun incurs a 1% fee. And 60% of that 1% goes to boop stakers. But then you come to their biggest coin, Bevo. It has 3.2 million volume. And boop stakers got $0.0 out of that. But that's on the graduated chart. So maybe we need to go to the boop chart pre-graduation. And you can see this coin graduated in like 2 minutes. But to boop stakers was an unimpressive $0 paid out. you need to stake a minimum of 100 boop, which is maybe $30 today, for this to work at all. But another interesting one is 5% of the supply of every graduated token. And their statistics are impressive. They graduated 62 calls today out of 1,600 created in just one day. That's about 4% of all the calls here get graduated. That's not bad. So yeah, not too sure about staking, but if you really get some of this, theoretically, this would mean that you get some portion of those 60 odds tokens graduating daily. You'd probably have to stake a shit ton, thousands of dollars worth of boop for these graduated token airdrops to make any financial sense. But if you're a degen, you're not going to be able to resist this. So in short, to me, this staking stuff makes a ton of sense. First, it will pump the price of the boop token, and it creates this flywheel where it only applies to graduated tokens. So this gives an incentive to people to make a token graduate, because 60% of trading fees, that's a lot. Remember, on pump.fun, all the trading fees are earned by pump.fun, and they are earning multiple millions per day. Alright, so let's have a look at the boop chart here. It was created on the 1st of May, just 7 days ago. And it's been going up and down, but basically it's in the $100 million range. So not too shabby, given that we are in some sort of a meme coin bear market. And I'm telling you, the staking thing can make this go way up. And here's one more thing to make you super bullish. Remember that 1% fee on all trades, 60% of which goes to boop stakers, 30% goes to the boop buyback bank, which to me means it will serve to actually buy boop coins on the open market. Basically, it means the higher the trading volume on boop.fun, the higher the price of boop token will go, because this is a lot. Remember, on pump.fun, 100% goes to the team to keep the lights on. And here only 10% of 1% is pocketed by the boop team. And 30% goes to pumping the boop coin. We have something like 72% of all boop tokens which have not been released yet. Guess who has those tokens? So yeah, trade with care. Be careful with this one. When the gap is so huge between the FDV and the market cap, this token can nuke anytime. But if you're looking at this, this fucking token can moon anytime. So gamble responsibly. If you're into farming, you can farm this coin on Orca, Raydium, even PancakeSwap or Meteora. And as of today, you get anywhere between 0.3 and 4.3% daily yield. But a reminder, of course, the price of boop and SOL can swing way more than those 4% that you gain with farming these pools. Another huge farm they have with 3 million daily volume is on raydium. Let's check that one out. Oh my god, so we are on raydium, and the boop USDC pool with a liquidity of $1.8 million has generated $9,000 of fees. And this one is just off the charts. So you gotta watch the APR. So the APR gives you the percentage gains over a year. So that's a 17x per year. And this one over here, 364x. It comes out to a 2x. You can see the pool has $1,300 and has generated $1,300 in fees. So something like 1 hour in, our cult is still being spun up. Let's check back later to see if we're gonna see our souls or if it's just all gone. But you know what, I'm not going away. I'm creating this coin. But instead of creating it on the website, we're gonna create it on x.com. We're gonna tweet it. And so basically we have to tag boop. So I thought about making a meme coin about some cool Buddhist meme. And I love this one, but the resolution is shitty. I love this one. I'm gonna grab this. We're gonna call this sticker symbol change. So we even have a lore. Let's head to X. So it generates the tweet. You just have to paste the picture. And now let's post it and see if an actual token called change will get created. And if it gets created, let's be the first to jump on it. And our coin is here. Our coin is here after just what? Someone already bought a lot of this. All right, so let's put 0.1 SOL on this. Remember, let's not gamble too hard. So we got 2 million change coins. That's quite a change. And so you can see right off the bat that this was sniped. Right after creation, someone bought 8 SOLs worth. Then this other guy buys 1.39 and 2 seconds later sells 1.36, hoping that someone will snipe it in that 2-second window between him buying and him selling. Same thing, this guy buys 4 sols of the coin and sells 3.92 sols worth of it with 8 seconds difference, hoping that someone will jump in between and pump the price enough so that instead of losing 0.08 sol, he'll make something like 0.1 sol. Alright, our coin is looking bad. Someone just dropped 3 and 2.5 sols worth of our coin. Moral of the story, do not buy into a sniped coin. So yeah, let's get back to this later. But what bugs me is that our other coin creation is still in limbo. It's not happening. Meanwhile, I've been waiting for my coin, the Holy AI coin, to get created, and it's still loading. But my 0.61 sol is gone. And we have the transaction telling us that the coin did get created for 0.61 sol. We paid 0.015 sol, that's $2.2 for the minting of the coin, and I have the 20 million Holy AI coins in my wallet. And the coin is right here. But if we look for the coin on Boop, it ain't there. So it's still stuck in this limbo. So here's a word of warning for you, meme coin trader. Do not create a meme coin on Boop. And if you have to create one, please create it through Twitter. That one went through fine, and we're still holding on. Our change coin is still owned by, well, me. But I'm not selling it just yet. In fact, let me buy a little more. In the meanwhile, I cracked the mystery. Why is this guy pushing 86 sol into a coin that he's gonna create where he can only get something like 62 sols back? So he's losing net 22, 23 sols. And I saw this coin here called graduation farming. So I'm going to call this graduation farming. And what graduation farming is what we just saw. You drop your 86 sols into a newly minted coin, and as soon as it graduates, you sell it all. But since you graduated the coin here, you are eligible to a portion of this 1 million Boop reward. So let's do the math. We have 64 cults graduated in the last 24 hours. If we divide those $245,000 by 64, that's around $4,000 worth of Boop per day. And so if you're one of those 64 coins, then supposedly you have around $4,000 worth of Boop. We have some updates on the staking. So I started staking like 5 hours ago, and I farmed 30 cents worth of fees. And I farmed 2 cents worth of airdrops. So basically I got 100 different coins and like 129 of each of these random coins. So these are each coins that have graduated. And so I could select these coins and like claim them. But claiming them will cost me more than the value of the coin. So fees, yeah, it works, but the airdrop stuff doesn't make sense. There should be a button where you claim all the airdrops coins, but in Boop. And by the way, I did a back of the envelope calculation, and they have 20 million daily volume. And they charge a 1% fee on each trade. So 1% of 20 million is 200,000. But Boop stakers are not earning 200,000. They're not even earning 120,000, which would be 60% of the 1% trading fee. So it works out that basically Boop stakers will earn something like 0.3% of all the trading volume happening on Boop, which is still a lot of fucking money if you ask me. And finally, about the tokenomics. So we got a total of 1 billion Boop tokens. 10% is with the team. It's locked up with a 6-month cliff, followed by a 24-month unlock period. And they are staking these team tokens, at least part of them, but they are never going to be staking too much. So here the 10% for the Boop team. We are safe for at least 6 months on that one. Angel sales, so those are the VCs. And it wasn't mentioned if this is locked up, so it's not locked up. You bet they are unloading right now. So treasury, let me know in the comments if you know what the fuck that means. To me, it translates to coins that they can just sell at any time, which also means that they are selling it right now. Liquidity, I guess this is on raydium. This is stuff that's locked in forever programmatically. It's to allow trading of the coin. The initial airdrop, I would assume they just landed on people's wallets who have been trading a bunch of meme coins. So this stuff is kind of up in the air too and may push the price down as well. And then we got the platform rewards. To me, those are the 1 million Boop paid out daily. So those are 500 million tokens, which means that they will have 500 days to keep paying out those 1 million boops per day. Not very sustainable if you're asking me. But some portion of these 500 million tokens will probably get paid out to the boop stakers, who will earn the fees and the airdrops. And here they explain exactly how it works. So the trading fees and the token airdrops go to the boop stakers, and that daily 1 million boop goes cult followers and their creators. In particular, 10% goes to the creators and 90% goes to the token holders at the time of the graduation. So this is graduation farming. If you're holding 100% of the tokens at graduation, and assume there's 100 tokens which graduate per day, then we have 1 million divided by 100, coming out to 10,000 boop tokens per day, which potentially goes to the guy who graduated it. And 10,000 boops are worth something like $2,500 today. So depending on the price of boop and depending on how many coins graduate per day, this is why people are doing this graduation farming. So here's my conclusion about boop. It is probably not going to be the next pump.fun. Basically, they try to be pump.fun but better, by giving a bunch of the fees back to the users. 90% of all the trading fees going back to the stakers. I want a piece of that. The question really is it possible for boop to stay in the game long term? It is obvious that they cannot keep up their 1 million boop token per day release. The graduation sniping is a symptom of that problem. So they're giving out a bunch of cash to try to drive volume as much as possible in the early days, because the next couple of days are going to make or break boop. So keep your eyes on the chart, because adding staking to a pump.fun style website where users can earn a bunch of the rewards that pump.fun pockets for themselves. You gotta love the story. And the website is functional and there's decent volume and there are some nice and funny memes created on there. But I can't help but feel that they are kinda late to the game. You have a bunch of meme coin launching protocols popping up. We got Zora. We just had auto.fun launching 2 weeks ago. Is it part of a new meta? Is the new bull run gonna be started by meme coin launching platforms? As it's getting easier and easier to vibe code up an entire meme coin launch platform. Are we gonna see a Cambrian explosion of different meme coin launching philosophies? Is the ever-shifting crypto attention going to be kind to boop? Or is it just going to be another one of those hot thing for a week and then everybody forgets about it? I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Have some boop staked. I'm farming some boop on raydium at the same time. And I bought into a couple of coins, just some chips on the hottest coins. If you look at the tokenomics, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. They have a bunch of the tokens reserved for the community. But the question is, are community members gonna hold on to their boops? Or are they gonna dump as soon as they receive those staking rewards? And if you have spent 2 hours in meme coin land, you know that as long as price is going up, they're gonna hold on to that. But as soon as momentum is drying up, volume gets low, boop could turn into a boon. The fact that I lost 0.6 SOL on this website, if you're just fucking around, don't play with real money. And for the rest of the video, I kept 2 gems. One is my love story with the Jimmy coin, and the other one was my exploration of the raydium pool boop SOL, where I just could not resist injecting some liquidity. So if you're into some trench warfare, then hang on, and in any other case, glad you watched. Have a profitable day. Hey, there's a Jimmy coin. I need to buy that one. So let's see how it works. So here's Jimmy coin. I have connected my wallet, and here's how I put 0.1 SOL into Jimmy coin. It looks like this one got sniped, but what the hell. Let me buy 0.1 SOL, and I'm getting 3.2 million Jimmy coins. That's a steal. Okay, the transaction went through super fast, and here is a transaction of me investing my heritage into Purple Haze on boop.fun. And as you can see, we already made a dent here. We sent Purple Haze coin 1 inch closer to the moon. That little green candle is our purchase. Jimmy is looking kind of bleak. In the meantime, let's keep our Jimmy position alive. If you gotta believe in something, believe in Jimmy. About 2 hours later, we're checking back in on Jimmy. Jimmy has been bought by the dev, right? He dropped 0.015 SOL, so maybe we're gonna make a profit here. I'm not seeing Jimmy Moon anytime soon, so yeah, let's get out of this one. Alright, so we just sold for 0.098 as hope is evaporating for Jimmy the Purple Haze. Sorry guys, I'm just too curious. I cannot resist this one. I need to inject some liquidity into this pool. So remember, this is a concentrated pool. You have to set up where your liquidity is going to be deposited. This is the current price. This is 23% down, and this is 28% up from the current price. So I'm ready to put 0.1 SOL into this, and I'll need another 65 boops to match this. In a concentrated pool, you always have to match your amount of SOL to the amount of boop. So we're going to Orca. We are buying 0.1 SOL worth of boop, which is 61 boop. Let's hit confirm. And so we are back on raydium here. And by default, you get like a positive 10% price difference. Let's pull it out to a little higher and a little lower, just to make sure we're going to cover the range of price movements for the next 1 or 2 days. And we do that because if the price moves outside of this range, then we'll stop generating fees. So I ended up setting it up to negative 15% and positive 19% price movement. That means 0.1 SOL and 0.1 SOL worth of boop, totaling $30. So this is not a major gamble here. I'm just curious to see if this can turn into $60 by tomorrow. Let's create that position. Also interesting, so this coin has graduated in a matter of 3 minutes. The dev buys 30 sols worth of ASDF tokens, exactly half the supply, the maximum available, and then waits a couple of minutes, 2 minutes to be exact. Then buys another 56 sols worth of tokens, 24% of the whole supply, and that sends it right into graduation. So the token graduates, and then we click on the graduated chart, and then the dev comes and sells all the tokens in one fucking transaction. And here's the transaction, ladies and gentlemen. 738 million tokens, basically the entire bag of the dev got sold, and he got 61 SOL for this. So he got 61 SOL, but what was his investment? 30 SOL plus 56 SOL. So that's 86 SOL. That's the amount of SOL you need to graduate a coin. So this guy puts in 86 SOL, the coin graduates, and as soon as the fucking coin graduated, he sells it for 61 SOL. So this guy basically just lost 22 SOL, around $3,000 in the space of just 5 minutes.